Hello, welcome to the stream. We're Midnight Munches, the team behind One Button Bosses. I'm Bryn. With me, there's also Fur and Jonas. Say hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Jonas is gonna be playing the game for us today. So, Jonas, why don't you just jump into the action, and me and Fur can talk a little bit about the game in the meantime.
Let's go.
So we have like a little character here, Ace, who's gonna be giving you guys the intro. But it turns out that there's a better person to talk about the game than Ace this time around. So we have Fur here, and I think Fur, maybe you can give us like a little rundown of how the hell does like a boss fighting game work when it's only with one button? Because that's the whole shtick of the game, right? It's in the name. It's one button bosses.
Yeah, that's right. It's one button bosses. You are fighting bosses with just one button. So the way we'll do it, you'll see now when Jonas goes through this little intro with the story that we'll talk about later. But the way it works is you are controlling this little green ship that is orbiting around a boss automatically. If you don't press the button, you will orbit around the boss. When you press the button, you will change direction. And you do that in order to avoid the enemy attacks that are going to come from the boss. However, if you don't press the button, you move faster. And the faster you move, the faster you will be shooting. And the faster you shoot, the more damage you will do to the boss. So you have this push and pull mechanic where you want to press the button to avoid what's coming to you. You can see now that you're getting attacks. And Jonas is starting to shoot just these little bullets that you're shooting automatically as well. And the faster you move, if Jonas doesn't push the button, the faster you are shooting and the more damage you do. But if Jonas presses the button a lot of times now, you can see that the bullets get smaller and you are losing a lot of speed. So you have this mechanic of like pushing the button, not pushing the button, avoiding attacks, but also like trying not to press the button many times to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, so there's like a strong push and pull feeling, right? Like you wanna balance like how much are you willing to risk to go fast.
Exactly. And now we can see that Jonas beat this level in about 50 seconds. So this game is also about speed, if you want to look at it that way. You get a rank based on how fast you beat the level. Jonas got an A, he got one hit, and he did about like 20 damage per second. And he can compare himself to other people in the leaderboards. I don't know if they are filled. No, we can see the leaderboards here.
Go to the global one, yeah.
Can compare in the leaderboards. He can go to the global one.
Go to the global leaderboard.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you can see like
Number
he's
7.
Number 7. That's not bad. Who's number 1? That's Bryn.
Bryn is
I
number
think
1
it's
now
me.
with 38 seconds. Yeah.
I think I took some time one day and I went to make sure that I'm number 1 on all of the demo levels. Okay, let's continue. Right, let's get into the rest of the game.
Yeah. So when you get to a new level, you will get a little bit of a story. Like you will see this character Ace talking to you, and you will have some more characters like that are talking, and you will see what's happening with them. So, Bryn, can you tell us a little bit like what's the story of the game and who is this Ace character that we're talking to? Very cute.
Yeah, so we thought it would be hilarious that since this is a boss fighting game, you would fight actual bosses. So we set the game in this like abstract office universe where all of the bosses that you're fighting are trying to play off stereotypical characteristics of a boss that you might find in your office job or in like whatever, like when you were working as a student, like the boss that tried to abuse student workers. And Ace is kind of like the personification of somebody who's getting screwed over at their workplace. Because as Jonas gets like into this level and into the next ones, and in the full story of the game, you see Ace like being very enthusiastic about the work that they're doing, and then slowly realizing that they're not getting paid enough for the work that they're doing. For the work that they're doing for you, because Ace is your personal assistant as you're grinding up the tough corporate ladder here. And maybe, Jonas, you can get into the next level and we can start talking a little bit about how tough these battles can actually get.
Let's do it. I'm going in.
Yeah, Fur, I have like an impromptu question for you here, right? Because we've shown that like Jonas uses the button to avoid the attacks, right? And in this level, we can see that like attacks can be way more than just like red triangles on the screen. Are there any attacks that you personally like the most? Like what do you think is like the most interesting way for us to attack the player?
Well, there's an attack that I like a lot. So in the game, most of the attacks are always gonna be the same. So when you replay a level, the attacks is gonna behave the same way. They are gonna shoot the same way. So you can learn the level. But there's one attack that is called Quick Line that it will behave differently based on where you are. So it will always target you, and then it will bounce off a little bit around the screen semi-randomly. So that's the one attack that you need to be like most reactive to, and that's a very cool attack. I think it also has like a very cool looking pattern. So that's, I think, my favorite one.
Yeah, I agree. Quick Line is super cool. I also really love the one that Jonas is playing against now, which is just like showers you with bullets and makes the game feel like a real bullet hell adventure. And I see that Jonas is playing like very safely right now. So maybe Jonas, like if you beat the boss now, maybe you can try it one more time and play like a bit more aggressively with your speed, so we can really show like the difference between the speed that that you can have. Right?
So right
Just
now,
got a D rank now.
I am the last on the leaderboard, and I think
But there's a
I have a feeling I can beat Brain. You know,
okay.
I don't
Let's
think
do it.
Let's
his
see.
skill is questionable, I must say.
But yeah, we can see like Jonas is like really min-maxing now, right? Like you can see in the size of the bullet as well. That's a way for us to signify that you, the player, are going fast and that like you are doing a lot of damage. The shape of the bullets and the color of the bullets changes. And as you see, like Jonas is playing through exactly the same level. There's exactly the same attacks going on. But the whole thing is going way faster now, right? Because he was able to optimize his damage. We went from like 11 DPS to 31 DPS now.
But that's
I don't know. On global leaderboards, you're definitely higher now, but like you're still not there.
yeah.
How
But it's
far
showing
in
your
the
best
globals?
time overall, 29 seconds. Yeah.
It's me,
Not
Peely, Hoofer, and then Brain. Brain is number one on everything. Frick.
Yeah. Whoever Peely is though, like Peely above you, Jonas. You're not...
Peely is a gamer.
Right. Let's continue the story. Like we have now like there's two choices for Jonas to pick which level he wants to go for. And in the demo and also in the full version of the game, players will a lot of times face a choice. And the choice is always present to allow you to not get stuck on a single boss fight. We love boss fighting games. We've all played different boss fighting games. And we hate it when you like hit a wall. You get to a boss and you just can't beat that boss over and over. So we always want to offer you a choice whenever we throw a harder level at you. For which level do you think we should go for? Should we go for the bottom one or the top one?
So I think we should go for the top one. Things
First
a
is
bit
in
more
charge.
interesting.
He's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're gonna meet the
Yeah.
star boss here.
Star is one of our bosses. Star is supposed to personify a cool boss from a startup company. You know, the one that knows all of the buzzwords, the one that like has dinner with you, like pays for dinner every so often. Because they're not like other bosses, they're a cool boss. So I think also like the level that we're using in Star's level is like this classic One Btn Bosses level that was one of the first levels we created where we really felt like this is it. This is what the game should feel like. And we've been like slowly changing this level, not by much, but this level has been in the game for more than 2 years now. And we've always felt like this is like a good One Btn Bosses level. Like this is a good introductory One Btn Bosses level. We showcased it like at different conferences and festivals where people were able to play the game before. And it always has like a very like good learning curve, but there's like some very cool patterns inside of it, and it's easy to pick up. All of the attacks are super easy to follow. Let's get into it, Jonas.
Oh, wow, now I'm excited. Let's go.
So first, maybe while Jonas plays the level, can you tell me a little bit about player customization? Because for the keen night viewers, you probably noticed before Jonas gets into a level, there's a choice, and Jonas can pick between like different attacks and movement options. We've just been using the default one now, right? But like, how does player customization work in One Btn Bosses? What can you change about the way you play the game?
Yeah, so there are a lot of things you can do with your one button in One Btn Bosses. Right now, when you start the game, you don't have much of a choice. You are stuck with the classic, with the shooter attacking style, where you shoot bullets automatically, and you have your one button that changes direction. But however, as you progress through the game, you will unlock more ways to attack the boss, and you will unlock more ways to move around the boss. So for example, you can unlock a dash ability for movement, and when you press the one button that you have, instead of changing direction, you will move faster and you will dash over enemy attacks at cooldown. Or you will unlock a laser, for example, that will do more damage the more time you are in the fight. So in the beginning of the fight, you will do very little damage, but then as you ramp up, you will start to have a lot more damage, and then you will shred the boss.
I think
And in the demo, you will, like, once we beat the small story of the demo, you will unlock this dash, so you can see how that works.
Jonas has no issues. Like, Jonas is playing very conservatively this time around, it seems. I mean, like, the timing we see is from Jonas playing outside of here, right? Because like there's like a minute and 11, but no issues. Not getting hit a single time, or getting hit one time, I guess, in this run. And yeah,
maybe give it another shot, and I have a fun fact for you, and try to beat this level. Try to beat this level faster, because I've been going to conferences a little bit now here in Spain, and this is the one level that we always had. Like, we only allowed people to play one level, and it was this one. And people were trying to get the best times of the day and competing with other people, and they were getting like prizes like posters, for example. And as a fun fact, I had this little time in the timetable that was my time, and I was not expecting anybody to beat it, which was around like 34 seconds and like 7,000ths of a second. And not one, but two people managed to beat my time, and that was pretty impressive. Jonas just didn't manage to beat the level at all. He was like, very close.
You're playing risky, right? Like
Exactly.
I reached
you're going past it.
99.5%.
Give it another shot, and let's see you can beat my time, and let's see we can beat like the person with the best time, which was like 33.5, something like that. It was like a crazy time that I didn't even know you could get.
And that was with this like classic movement, and so the classic movement called turns, where you're able to change directions, and the default attack called shooter, where you're constantly attacking the boss based on your speed, right, Fer?
Yeah. And you can see here that there's this one mechanic that Jonas is trying to abuse now, where if you do get hit, you will lose a little bit of speed, but you will lose less speed than when you turn. So sometimes, and then you get some invulnerability time as well. So sometimes it's worth it to get hit, because you will continue moving fast and you will continue doing damage. So the people that are actually going for the best times in the leaderboard, they need to abuse this mechanic to the fullest to actually be able to get the best times.
For sure. I think maybe like after this level, we can move on to the bottom level. Or maybe actually the final level, so that we unlock the dash, and we can start talking about customization a little bit as well, because I think like besides obviously abusing like this micro mechanics, every level is different, right? So maybe for this level the default loadout is the best, but for a level that has like more HP, equipping the laser attack would be way better, because the laser attack makes you like do more and more damage over time, right? So, yeah, Jonas still not on top of the leaderboard.
It doesn't look like I can beat Fernando. His technique is...
I've seen people playing this level over and over again now, so I know it by heart, and I know what the best strat is. I will not tell you.
I think Jonas, you can skip this boss. Let's just go to the last one, so we can start getting into the rifts. And this is the thing I was talking about before. where it's like we always want to give you a choice when it comes to the harder fights, right? So Jonas beat the top fight, which means that the next level was unlocked. He didn't need to beat both of the fights, right? And in the full version of the game, there's multiple sections like this where you essentially need to win a best of 3, a best of 5, a best of 7, best of 9. And that's where the majority of the challenges of the game lie in. But we give you the choice. So if you're stuck on one fight, if one fight is giving you issues, you can always go to a fight to the left of it, or to the right of it, or above or below, and you will still be able to progress further in the game's campaign.
That is
So
nice.
let's
Because you might
into
get stuck,
the next
right? And like I did for a little bit there, and it's nice to be able to go and try some other levels in that case.
Yeah, for sure. And the levels themselves are very different sometimes, and I think we'll see that in the current level, right? So
Yeah. I'll jump right into it here. Bam. I'm going for the default loadout. Let's go.
yeah. So this level, as we can see, it's not like in a shape anymore, like a circle or a square like before. So Fer, do you wanna tell me a little bit about this? Like, how do we go about making levels? Some of them are like in a circle, you're orbiting around the boss. You said that as you were explaining, right? But like now we can see Jonas is on a line, and Jonas is teleporting around this line, right? Like if you go to the very left end of the line, you teleport on the right end of the line. Can you tell me a bit about like the level design process here?
Yeah, I think this is one of the coolest levels we have in the game, like the ones with the teleport. There are not that many of them, but like I think they are the coolest because they have this mechanic where you actually don't orbit around the boss, but you have a line that you are following, and then you are teleporting between the left and right side, and the boss will actually force you to like take these teleports, so you cannot just stay still in the middle, but you will have to like use these teleports to like do the most damage and also dodge the enemy attacks. You can see here now that Jonas is doing a lot of damage while teleporting. And yeah, it's like something very exciting, I think, at least for me to like play it with.
Yeah, I agree, and it's like there's something different to keep track of here, right? Because like now Jonas has to be keeping track of the left side to see if he's going to teleport into an attack as well, right? It's not enough to just like keep track of where exactly you are if you want to optimize your damage.
I am so far behind for now, though. But
Yeah, I have 45 seconds.
I seem also to remember that Bryn said he was #1 on every leaderboard.
Yeah, but we updated this one. We updated this level, and I haven't gotten to #1 on this one yet. We're gonna go for #1, Jonas?
I'm gonna go for one more try at #1 here.
Okay.
This is not looking
Yeah,
too
he's
good.
trying to maximize the damage here by taking hits, but now he has to beat the whole level with just 1 HP, which is like the problem with this maximization of damage. The problem with playing it risky is that now you need to beat the whole level with just 1 HP. And he didn't manage to do it.
All right. Maybe we'll just get out. We'll just get out, and we'll also be unlocking some new things like once we get out of this level.
Oops.
And once we win. Oh. So yeah, like at this point of the demo, you beat all of the handcrafted levels, and we have a special surprise for you in store. The other half of the game that like the handcrafted levels that we made are like the first section of the game, and then the second section of the game is a roguelike game mode. But first you must always obviously make sure that you wishlist the game. There's an achievement for that as well. So once you're in the game, make sure to press that wishlist button, and you will get an email the moment that the game is out, so you can play the full version with about 50 handcrafted levels and with like multiple hours to be spent in the roguelike game mode that we're gonna take a look at now.
Let's go. I'm excited.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about the roguelike game mode, Fer? Like how does it work? How is it different from the campaign that we've been playing now?
So we will see now in a second what's gonna be the structure of the roguelike game mode, which it's based on floors. So when you enter a roguelike, when you enter a rift, you will get a floor with like a lot of different paths you can follow, and each of these paths are levels that you can beat. These levels are generated randomly. they are always the same every time you play it, so you can actually learn it and like play it over and over again if you are struggling. But they are generated automatically. They are generated randomly, and every time you beat a level, you will get one power up. These power ups can be something small as like, or something not very big as like getting a little bit more damage, moving a little bit faster, different kind of things. But they can also get a little crazier. So like you are you have a body that shoots with you, or you have like different stuff that can actually impact a lot the way you play the game. So maybe we
Let's
can
get into level then. Let's do that in action.
Yeah, I'll jump right into it here.
So we have never seen this level that you guys are about to see now, because it's randomly generated, and I think the cool part about this is that sometimes you can just get interesting levels, like, or levels that like we ourselves would not really make. Like Jonas is getting a huge level, like a huge arena here, right? And maybe some attacks are like better for this, right? So as you saw, when Jonas was going into the rift itself, he was able to select the loadout, and he decided to go with the classics, because that's what we know. But I think we'll do another run later where we'll show you guys off how the dash works.
I would love to play
like
the dash as well.
Yeah. Starts off easy. So Jonas, let's see what are your choices.
So we can see we have bullet 1++, which the small bullets do more damage. So this tries to enforce you to like be at actually low speed, so you're shooting small bullets, but they are gonna be doing a lot of damage. We have max speed ++, which increases your maximum speed. So like you wanna go very fast and you are dodging stuff, or like you are just looping around the boss all the time. And then we have second wind, which is gonna try to have you lose your HP, be at 1 HP, and then at that point, when you get at that point, you will do a ton of damage and you will move super fast. So what do you want to pick?
I think second wind is the rare one here. There's like a lower chance to get second wind than the other one. So tactically speaking, I think second wind is also exciting. You know, it's like, can Jonas abuse the extra acceleration at 1 HP?
Yeah, what do you think? Should I go for the second win?
Yeah, go do that. Go do that. Let's see how it works. And now you have a choice between going to the right path or going up. What do you think? What do you want to do? Do you want to...
I want to go for the right path, because in this scenario, I can both go to the boss or the loot on the next one, depending on how good I'm feeling after this one. Let's go.
Yeah, so the red skulls on the map, those are bosses that are generated with a higher difficulty rating and a higher HP than the bosses that Jonas is fighting on this, than the rest of the bosses Jonas is fighting on this floor, right? So if you're feeling like you're powerful enough, you can go for a stronger boss, which will obviously also reward you with like bigger rewards, and the discoveries, the power-ups that you will find from the bigger bosses are going to be more interesting. Like more drastically change your gameplay. Jonas seems to be having no issues like with the bosses right now, right? Like it's like the first few bosses are kind of like for you to get like your build started a little bit. Yeah, let's see
what we have here. We have max speed ++. That's the one that we got before. That where min speed ++, where your minimum speed is increased, or increasing your attack speed.
Currently, I have second win in my inventory. I think I'll go for attack speed this time. You know,
okay.
I feel like together with second win, increase attack speed at 1 HP, it could be a dangerous combination.
Go for it. And now what do you want to do? Do you want to go for the loot? So you can get like one random card, or do you want to go for the mini boss, which is going to be a harder fight, but it's also going to give you like very cool power-ups.
I think it's time for me to go for the boss here. I really want to get some really cool power-ups, you know, really take this to the next level.
Yeah. Let's see.
Alright, let's see what happens here. So we can see like the boss is using a different graphic to signify that like we're fighting a different boss now, that like it might be harder. And you can see in the top bar, in the top HP bar, or like right above the boss, you can see that there's 3 dots next to it. Each of the dots represents a 500 HP increment. Ooh. and the mini bosses will always be generating with more HP than the other bosses. So we can see like there's some like this is the quick lines attack that Fur was talking about as one of his favorite attacks, right? We can see like the patterns are starting to get harder and harder. The roguelike version in the demo is like a micro experience of the whole roguelike version. We're letting you experience one floor, right? And in the full version of the game, you will be going from like, if we put the difficulty slider between arbitrary numbers, you will go from 1 to 100. Whereas here we're letting you experience maybe like kind of like 1 to 30 or something along those lines.
So Jonas also managed to beat this boss. Like he took one hit, but I was actually never in a lot of danger. So he's playing very good. We can see that he got faster and stronger, where you increase your maximum speed a lot. Big and slow, where big bullets damage is greatly increased. Like you will shoot them very, very, very slow. Or small and fast, where you will be shooting small bullets, but very, very fast. I think this one, like the small and fast, is very cool in combination with the ability that gives you like higher damage with the small ones, but we don't have this one yet. So,
yeah,
what do you think?
I think big and slow makes sense here, right? Because you're increasing your attack speed, and the downside of big and slow is that your attack speed is reduced. So it's like you're kind of canceling out the negative effect.
Okay, then go for that.
What do you think, Fer?
Good.
Do you have another opinion?
I have another opinion. I think like if we take faster and stronger, which is gonna increase your maximum speed, that together with the high acceleration that you get when you are at 1 HP, you could be like super dangerous when you are very low, but you shoot very fast and you will do a lot of damage. So I think that one is cooler, but that's your pick. You're playing, so it's your choice.
Well, I'm gonna shake it up completely, and I'm gonna go for a small and fast.
Okay.
Yes. That's one of my favorite abilities that we have available in the demo, because what we try doing with this like discoveries is encourage different ways of playing compared to the campaign. Like in the campaign, you're always encouraged with this loadout that Jonas is using to be going as fast as possible, right? But here in the roguelike game mode, it's possible for you to like try going for a build where over time you are building up your level 1 bullets. And now it's advantageous for you to stay slow and to like keep a position, right? So it can like totally change the way that you're playing the game. It's not about going fast anymore. Maybe it's about holding a position now and finding a safe spot where you can just fire super fast. You can see like the machine gun with the small and fast bullets currently, right? Gives you a safer way to play, but maybe still not doing as much damage as if he was going for the strongest, highest level bullets.
What happens if you lose a fight here, Bryn? Do you lose completely, or these are roguelike game mode?
Yeah. So if you lose a fight, currently we're still experimenting with what will work best in the full game. But in the demo, there's 3 attempts. You have 3 lives. The magic number is there. You know, like you lose a fight, and you're able to try it again. So that's also because like the levels are randomly generated. So we cannot, especially once it gets to the crazier fights, we cannot guarantee that these fights are going to be the kindest to you, right? Like they might start off with like very crazy attacks and you might get caught off guard. So we want to offer you a chance to like recoil and like come back at the boss. But if you manage to lose 3 times in the whole run, then your run is over and you will need to start over again, and you will start without any discoveries that you currently have, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the play here, Jonas? Which power up are you going for?
Well, right now I think this keeping tempo, it looks really cool here. And I can see that this card in the middle, it actually has a black square versus the purple square. Why is that, Brim?
Yeah, so that's like to show the category, right? Like you can see at the bottom of the card, we have categories. It says attack, movement, attack. And there's 3 categories that you can go for: attack, movement, and speed. It's just like a way for us to visually indicate to you what the card is about without you reading the text, right? And the movement categories are usually like related to the movement ability that you chose. The attack categories are usually related to the attacking style that you chose, and the defense ones are different, right? And that's also not always true. We have some like abilities that relate to the way that you're moving that change the way you're attacking, or abilities that, I don't know, tie your attacks to healing or something along those lines.
Cool.
So
I think I'm gonna
you're
go
going
for
for
keeping
the
tempo here.
tempo?
Yeah,
Nice.
it looks cool. Maybe I can use it in a good way. You know, looking back at it, it would have been good for me to choose the big and slow earlier. Because to me, it seems like the big and slow and the keeping tempo have some kind of synergy going on here that I could have been tapping into.
Yeah, it could have stayed at like higher level bullets for longer. Jonas is going like with risking a lot now. Like that's the third big boss that you're doing,
I'm
right?
addicted to the loot.
So you're addicted to the loot. You're also good at the game, so you have like no issues beating these bosses, right? But we have some questions that we have from the viewers that I want to start getting into as like we're reaching the end of this run, right?
Sure, but I do have a question that I want to ask you first.
Go.
When we were playing the campaign, I think the game looked a little bit different. Like the colors were a bit different. Like what's up with that? Like I think I see a lot of yellow now and a lot of pink and purple. What is that?
So there's different color palettes for the game, right? Like it's we're keeping in with the traditions of contemporary pixel art games. The game is actually rendered in the background in black and white. It's all grayscale, and then it makes it very easy for us to change the colors so that players are able to pick whatever colors suit them best and like whatever they want, right? Like every time you go into a rift, a color is randomly generated. But I think if Jonas, like after he picks the card that he wants to pick, if he goes into the settings, Jonas is actually able to change different color palettes. So I think he's on the colorblind
I'm on colorblind palette.
Yeah, we have different colorblind palettes as well to like try to help people who you know, like our game is about avoiding the red things, but sadly like about like 1 in every 20 people in the world is not able to tell the difference between red and green, and our game is about being red and green. So we're like, well, we need to have color palettes in the game, but there's like for everybody to make this more accessible, but also like, you know, like if you're one of those people that use Discord in light mode, we have a color palette for you. If you want to show off like your sexuality, we have like LGBT flags as color palettes. So Jonas is on the trans color palette now, right? Like we just like, it's a small little thing that we can do, and it's like, why not, right?
And
okay,
also,
but
we skipped ahead a little bit. I would like to point out that I actually went this time with the fast turtle card here, in which my acceleration. Sorry, you go on, sir.
Yeah, no, I was just reading the card. Your acceleration is decreased by a lot, so you will ramp up much slower. But actually, if you manage to beat at max speed, like your speed is like much higher. I think this one goes very well with the keeping tempo ability. So if you manage to be at max speed, yeah, that's a very cool idea. If you manage to be at max speed, then you can utilize keeping tempo to like not lose this speed.
My plan here now is to try to stay on the max speed. So this second win and small and fast, they kinda doesn't have too much synergy with the rest of my build here. But my idea now is to try to go to 1 HP so I can counteract the acceleration decrease with the second win increase. So let's see if I can manage to play this risky playstyle here, where I stay on 1 HP.
And I want to point out the boss here is again different now. It's like not hint robot, the triangle, or it's not quad anymore. Now we're facing star. You want to tell me a little bit about the bosses at the end of each of the floors? Where like how does this work?
Yeah, so these bosses, they are not actually randomly generated. When you get to the end of the floor, you will get a boss that is manually made by us, and we do that in order to like make sure that you actually have good power-ups and you actually manage to beat this, and to make the runs a little bit more exciting. Just in case you didn't get a lot of very cool fights, which shouldn't happen, but in case it did happen, you're getting a very hard challenge here. And this is using attacks that I don't think you can see in the demo, so it's a little bit of a tease of like what's next in the full game.
But Jonas has no issues with this fight, right? Like
By staying on 1
Blazing-
HP,
blazing
can-
through it with 35 DPS. I think that's like decent for like a demo build. It's I think like highest DPS I ever managed to get like in the demo was like 50, something like that. But like you really need to get like some broken combinations to be able to get to like such high numbers. And I think it's gonna be exciting to see everybody in the Discord chat, in the Discord channels, also posting like the highest DPS they
Yes.
can get.
please join our Discord and share if you manage to reach a higher than 50 DPS. We would love to see your build and see what you're cooking.
So I think what we should do now is we have one level to beat in the campaign that we have not beaten yet. So you can go to that one and maybe try the dash movement, and then we show off like how dash is different than other movement, or like the movement that you had before.
We had a couple questions in the chat earlier. Maybe after I finish this level, we can get to those.
Yeah, we do. Let's do this level. Fer can run us through how the dash works, and then let's do another run of the rifts, and we can talk about the questions that we collected from the viewers.
So there's a lot of locked loadouts here that I would love to play, but it seems like only the dash is available.
In the full game. Yeah, only dash is available to you in the demo. That's for us to show like how the game changes while you choose different loadouts, but then in the full game you will be able to unlock all of them, of course, and try your best builds.
So what's the difference between the dash here? Let's see. With the dash, you can quickly and safely dash over the arena, and by holding your button to dash, you can ignore all obstacles. Oh, this sounds great. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, go for it.
I think the big thing with dashes, and that I've seen like a lot of people do, is like they get in the game, they love the dash. Let's go, Jonas. Let's show them the dash.
But also,
But then you realize
there's also attack changes. What's the difference between an attack change and a movement change here?
So, very briefly, an attack change is how you're attacking, right? So, like the default attack, you're always shooting depending on your speed. But and if you change that, like if you go for pickup, for example, pickup, you shoot a strong bullet that you need to pick up, as the name implies, after you shoot it. And until you pick it up, you can't shoot it again, right? So it's changing the way that you're attacking. And the way that you're attacking might interact with the way that you're moving. Whereas the movement changes what your one button does, right? And the thing I was trying to get to before is a lot of people get into the game with dash, they press the button, they're like, oh cool, I can dash over things, that's so dope. And then the realization hits, when you're playing with dash, you can't change directions anymore, right? You're always going to be going counterclockwise.
That sounds a bit
There's
scary.
like, there's always a trade-off. Like we don't necessarily have like, oh, this attack is better than the default attack. It's all just like a way of like picking a playstyle.
So we can see that this is riskier because if you're moving fast, you're also doing a lot more damage. So sometimes it's very, very cool and very tempting to use the dash all the time. But you have energy that is getting depleted every time you use it, and then if you don't use it, it charges up. But you cannot be dashing forever. So it's it's super dangerous to just dash all the time, but it also gets you to the top of the leaderboards. We can see that still Mr. Breen is at 26 seconds. Maybe he used dash for this one.
I definitely use
the dash. Felt great on this one. Wow.
Yeah, dash is good on fights. Like dashing classic is like this, like dash and shooter. I mean, there's like this good combination for short fights, right? You can like burst out a lot of damage. You can, especially if you know the fight, right? Like you know which parts you're able to dash over and be risky with. But like in longer fights, in fights that have like a lot of things that need to be dodged in a longer period, like that stay on the screen longer, dash can be dangerous because then it's like really hard to jump around with a like a set amount of energy only.
Yeah, it feels a bit more challenging to use this because I see I have this resource of energy next to my ship here, and it becomes sort of a mini game of managing this resource as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's one more
thing to track. Yeah, that's right. We're saying the same thing. Yeah, it's one more thing to track. It's something that you need to keep in mind. That is not something that you have to keep in mind with any other movement ability. So it changes also the way that you think about the game as well. You have something else on the screen, something else to think of.
Exactly. I don't think Jonas, you will beat my 26-second timer. I think I spent like a bit of time on it.
Okay.
I think you should
Thank
just
you.
move on to the rift and know your place as the
42
second
seconds.
person on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I think I will just move on and take this defeat. Yet another defeat for me.
Mhm. So when you're playing a rift, right? The power-ups that you get, are they tied to your movement on weapon, or how does it work?
Long answer, yes. Short, no. Short answer, yes. Long answer, no. Right. So obviously, if Jonas goes in with the dash now, and I think you should, Jonas, we will not give him power ups for changing directions. Right. Like it's gonna be power ups that are tied to dash. But there are some power ups that are universal, right? That like happen that can appear regardless of what game mode you're playing. So for example, I think the acceleration power-up, the second wind, that one works both with dash and with turns, but it might not work with the third movement ability that we have available, reverse, right? So yeah, it is. It does depend what attacks you have, but there's some stuff that appears regardless of that.
Okay.
So let's get to the viewer questions now then, right? Like while we watch in the background Jonas play through this game, and maybe we don't talk through the card choices here. We just let the audience observe. So for like I have to ask, like what's the inspiration for the game, or maybe Jonas can talk about this, right? Because it was me and Jonas that started making the game at first, and then Fer joined in and had like a lot of good thoughts. But like, Fer, you wanna take this one, or should Jonas talk about the inspiration while he plays? Maybe we give him a bit of a disadvantage while he's playing.
So, originally, in university, when we were in university, me and Bryn, we were really into playing games such as World of Warcraft and other boss fighting games, Dark Souls, stuff like that. And we really like this idea of building intuition, learning a fight, mastering a fight, optimizing elements. And I think that's where a lot of the core ideas of this game come from.
For sure. I mean, but there's also the one button element of it, right? Where it was like, let's try to take this excitement of doing a raid fight in World of Warcraft, of like failing at a boss multiple times, only to succeed in the end, like after you finally understand how it works. And like, let's bring that to a wider audience. Let's do this without having to grind for 300 hours to get to the boss fights, right? Let's do this without having a ton of abilities, right? So it's like a very easy game to pick up, but there's a lot of things to master here. What is like we have some like hidden mechanics with the dash. Do you know what I'm talking about, Fer? Like, do you maybe want to explain any of them?
I think I know what you're talking about, but maybe if I don't tell them right, like you go. But with dash, if you deplete, you use dash like with any other ability, you will lose speed. However, if you manage to deplete the full dash energy altogether, you will not lose speed. You will stay at maximum speed. So sometimes you wanna just like keep using it and like risk being at the wrong place when you deplete it, just in case, just so you can get the most amount of speed when you get out of the dash. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, that's one of them, and this is the sort of things that like we want to see people like learn how to use well, right? Like that's exciting, you know. It's like, are you able like to always like deplete your energy fully while dashing? Well, that's gonna increase your damage because you will not be like losing any speed, right? This is the sort of optimizations Jonas was talking about, and learning the dances of the fights, right? And then in the campaign, you can go and really like grind that out, and you can really like know a fight in and out. But in the roguelike game mode, that's not possible because the fights are generated. So we're testing your intuition in the roguelike game mode, and in the campaign, it's something that's like way more like of the like, yeah, intuitive. Like, can you do it on the spot, right? I think maybe we start like talking about like a few more viewer questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Maybe you want us
Yeah,
to do like one more run, like as we're talking about some viewer questions, or we can
send it
save that for the next stream.
I do have a question. Is there a point now while the demo is up in Steam Next Fest for people to grind the leaderboards, for people to be on the top of the leaderboard, on top of their friends and on top of everybody else?
Yeah, so this, if it's not already live, this announcement should be live soon, but we're doing a little competition in the Discord. And you should definitely join the Discord server, because there's a little competition going on for you to compete on how good you are, obviously, in the game. And you need to post screenshots of your scores to compete in it. But we have a special award for the top 3 people that are going to, at the end of the Steam Next Fest. And that is, they will be included in the story, right? Like your usernames are going to be included in the story for the 3 best players. So if you think this is your type of game and like you love and enjoy these types of like bullet hell games, then you should definitely get into the Discord, and you should definitely share your scores with us, because the best players, they will be able to see themselves, see their names in the actual game in the end. It's a great way to brag with your at your friends that you're better at them than the game. You can literally tell them, look, I mean the dialogue.
Are you gonna be competing in the leaderboards as well, Bryn?
I think that would make the competition unfair, so I will be peacefully resigning my rightfully earned #1 spot on the leaderboards for this competition.
I think someone will surprise you, and they will pull through with some amazing times and beat you as well.
Yeah, 2 people managed to beat my time, so I don't think you're gonna be the best of all, Bryn.
And I need to be a little bit cocky, you know, like we've been working on this game for a very long time, and I think it shows very much as well here while Jonas is playing the game that he's having like no issues like avoiding any of these attacks. But remember, he's also been like working on this game for the past 2 years, so
I'm an elite raider in One Btn Bosses. So
yeah, and you can see like Jonas's build was like quite different here in the end. He had like 180 energy up from like 100 energy, right? So there's like there's different ways of like increasing your player power through the roguelike game mode. I think maybe we can do like one more quick level or 2, or like one quick rift run, and let's take like a few questions from the viewers, and we're saving up the rest, and we're gonna answer those in 2 other streams, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. You can like look at the Steam community page for the schedule. So I have a question that's maybe a bit less serious, considering it's a button game. I think it's important to ask, what's your favorite button on the keyboard?
Definitely is the spacebar. I think it's the coolest one. I also have like a custom keyboard and the spacebar does like a different sound. It's like very clicky. So I use the spacebar a lot. I like it. But you can also play the game with your mouse, and you can also play the game with a controller. You can play the game with almost anything you can connect to a computer. So yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah, we like joking while we're making the game that like this game works on any platform, because any platform has at least one button. We had our musician trying to run the game on a smart fridge at some point, like years ago. Okay, another question. Did we ever consider breaking the one button principle at any point of the development? Were we ever like, let's add a second button in?
I'd actually like to get your thoughts on that. Did you?
I mean, I think it's in the name, right? So like we can't break it, but theoretically we do break it when we're in the menus, right? We allow you to use more than one button to navigate the menu. There it was just like for practical reasons. But
I've always thought about the sequel to Btn Bosses.
Yeah.
Think about the possibilities.
Think about the possibilities. Like there's 100% more buttons than we have before, right?
Double the functionality, double the buttons.
Exactly. Could be also double the amount of players, and that's one more question that we got was, will there be co-op sometime down the line, or PvP? You're a more technical person. How easy is it to add co-op to the game?
So we have a co-op button in our engine. You just press it, and the game instantly becomes co-op. No, we are not planning to do co-op at the moment. We don't have the resources for that, sadly. But if you people wishlist the game a lot, if you buy the game a lot, maybe that could be a thing in the future. But for now, it will stay single player with like with online leaderboards only. Would you like to have a co-op game? Have you thought about it and do you know how it would work?
It's definitely something like that. While we realize we can't do this currently, it's something we thought about at some point. And like I did like some sketches where it was like we were looking at like how competitive Tetris works, where it's like you have two people on each side competing, and like when you do like a good move, you send attacks to the other person. So we maybe thought about that. But I think any boss fighting game is like amazing when you're playing it with friends, when you have to do like some sort of coordination. So I would love at some point to do like a 2-player version of One Button Bosses, 2 button bosses, 2 players, 2 bosses, right? 2 players, 2 buttons, 2 bosses. There we go. It's all about twos over there. And you maybe need to like do some coordination. Maybe there's like a point where one of you needs to like, I don't know, stay at like the north side of the arena to like disable a defense system in a boss, and then the other person can attack the boss faster, stronger, right? So it's like there's different interactions. Maybe at some point you need to be spread apart, otherwise you take damage, right? So I think there's like a lot of interesting things that can be done when you're doing boss fights with multiple people. Again, goes back to the inspiration Jonas was talking about, raiding in World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, right? Like, or if you look at games like Cuphead, right? Like there's like coordination that you need to do with your teammate, and we really would love to experiment with this, but we decided to get like the basics down first and make sure that they feel amazing, right? Like 1 button bosses for 1 player, and make the 1 player experience as good as possible. Kind of goes in with our like thinking of making the exciting boss fights accessible to as many people as possible, right? So it's like we try to give you the thrill of a World of Warcraft boss fight without you needing to collect 39 other players to raid with, right? Okay, I'm gonna have to ask maybe for the end, before Jonas gets to the final fight of this rift. Fur, what's up with the soundtrack? It's super good.
It is super good. That's right. It is made by our friend James Evans, and we have a bunch of songs right now in the game, and you'll see even more in the final game. Every boss has kind of its own soundtrack. Here we are shuffling them around a little bit so you can get a taste of what's going on. But yeah, the soundtrack is great. You can hopefully hear it now, or you can hear it while you're playing the game. Put your volume to the max, just jam out to the soundtrack. But yeah, it is great.
Yeah, and I think we'll have like a soundtrack option, an option to buy the soundtrack of the game on Steam as well, and we'll definitely, well, it's up to James like to put it on other platforms, but I think he's definitely gonna be happy to put this on other places as well.
Yeah.
So I would say we'd wrap it up. Maybe Jonas, you go back into the rift and like finish it up. You have 1 boss left, right?
And I have a couple left here. Let's see.
A couple left. Let's see if you can do it.
I have 2 left. Let's go. All right.
Two left and two rift lives remaining. And I think this time around, like, you're struggling a bit more. You managed to get like a very good run before with the dash, right? Like you were doing like 45 DPS, I think, in some of the boss fights.
I was doing 48 at the top, so I almost was up there. It was one of the better runs I've done. Oh.
There's a build for those of you that watched what Jonas was doing with the dash rift run. He managed to get a good build, like one of the more broken builds that we know exist in the demo. But I'm sure you guys will find it and post it in Discord, and I'm sure somebody's going to find a broken build that like we have not been able to find ourselves yet. And I'm very excited to see that stuff.
I was capitalizing on the energy resource and maximizing that, so I can keep dashing forever. And that worked out really well for us.
Nice. Yeah, maybe for we have like a little bit of time to talk. If Jonas can manage to beat the boss. What's your favorite shape for?
My favorite shape? Oh, it's very cool question. I mean, I like the levels that have the teleports, but my favorite shape of them all is the triangle. I think the triangle gives you like, it's a little bit harder to play around because you are going in a straight line for a long time, and then the attacks are getting closer and closer to you. but it's a very cool set.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Stable
hate
shape
the
as well in the real world.
I hate the triangle precisely because of that. I think I'm like a traditional person here. I'm like big fan of the circle levels.
Me too. I really like big circles, everything is slow, but you feel this sense of panic and urgency to avoid everything around you.
Well, that was close, Jonas. That was close. Jonas at 1 HP with 1 rift attempt remaining. He's getting into like some
coming
harder
up.
parts of the fight. But the fight is like almost at the end. Yeah, there we go. He
Managed to
cleared
beat it.
There we go.
Good job, good
24 damage per second though. I don't know if that's it.
I think Jonas, why don't you try going for Lost and Found? I think that's a cool ability as well, and we can talk about health zones, right? Like that's something that's not like present in the campaign, but there's different ways for Jonas to trigger to get a health zone in the run here. Like he has an ability now where there's a chance when he's hit, there's a 50% chance that he will spawn a health zone. And a health zone gives you like a second chance to regenerate your HP. Yeah, so we can see on the other side, if Jonas can manage to get there, health zone is up, and now when he's staying in the health zone, if he manages to stay for a short period of time in it, he's able to recover the HP, right? But remember, it's a chance, so it's not guaranteed that you will get a health zone, and then you also need to stay inside of the health zone. So for example here, Lost and Found is something that is available to you regardless of what modules you're playing with, but it's obviously way easier to trigger the HP recovery when you're playing with the classic module, like with the classic movement, than when you're playing with the dash, because you're always going fast with the dash, right? And what we see happening here now is that Jonas is not doing a lot of HP, so this is a great point to end on actually. So now he's getting into a dangerous territory where the attacks are becoming stronger and stronger, right? So we can you get like a strong visual identifier for this, that like, oh shit, like you should be doing more damage, you should be optimizing better. But it seems like Jonas is gonna be able to beat the boss in the danger zone.
That was tough, that was close. I think
That was close, yeah. Last fight of the Rift really tests if you are able like to optimize your damage, or if you were able like to get a strong build going here. So I think like for a new player, it's gonna take a few attempts to beat the last boss here. Okay. Well, that's it. I think we can end it here. I think, Jonas, it's important for you to show the most important button of the demo. If you go into the pause menu now, it's in the middle, the wishlist button. So make sure to hit the wishlist button. You're gonna get notified when the game releases. Second most important button, when you're playing the game, when you find a bug that we did not manage to fix somehow,
or
click the send feedback button, or if you want to tell us the game is awesome, obviously.
Or a suggestion, anything you want to reach out to us, hit the send feedback button. We're also available in the Discord server, where we are doing the competition, as Bryn said. Where you can also maybe see some cool things about the game, about the development, and stay up to date. Yeah.
We have our social media manager, Francesca. She's posting some secret updates there, where all of the news happen first. So join us in the Discord.
Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.